Now at 9, shoppers in Missouri get a discount this week thanks to a sales tax holiday just in time for back-to-school shopping. Plus, we'll learn about area efforts to get more young people registered to vote and how families in Quapaw, Oklahoma were able to get some free school supplies.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Anthony Saviello. The Missouri tax holiday will exempt sales tax from purchases like clothing, folders, pencils, and computers. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more details.
We spend around probably $400 every year.
Vanessa Johnson is a mom of 3, and she's visiting North Park Mall in Joplin to make the most of the sales tax holiday.
Everything from Kleenexes to Clorox wipes to the dry erase markers.
She says back-to-school shopping has gotten even more expensive over the years.
I remember being able to buy a pack of pencils for, less than $1 whenever they were in elementary school.
She says the sales tax exemption takes a lot of strain off of parents during back-to-school shopping.
On a $400 tab, you're looking at like $50 to $60 in taxes, and depending on where you live, and like that $50 to $60 could buy a pair of shoes.
Most school supplies that are $50 or less are exempt from sales tax, along with other items like computers that are $1,500 or less.
Gabriel Allen is the owner of G&S Graphics in Joplin, and his business rented a spot at the mall just for the tax holiday.
It's so big for retail that we printed our own stuff, embroidered a bunch of stuff for local area schools, and we rented this space in the mall.
As of last year, Missouri counties and cities can no longer opt out of the sales tax holiday. This allows all Missouri counties to enjoy the sales tax exemption.
The student to go back to school is about $585 this year with supplies and clothing, so it's a big savings this weekend.
Allen says he looks forward to seeing the crowd of shoppers this weekend for the tax holiday. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Items like handbags, jewelry, and ties are not included in the sales tax exemption. Important to remember that. Service Master Restore of Southwest Missouri also hosted a back-to-school supply drive. The public came out for today's event to donate school supplies to help local students ready for the upcoming school year. Service Master Restore says the event provides a great way to give to the community.
I grew up in a town that was, pretty impoverished, and I saw a lot of kids growing up that didn't have the money to afford their own school supplies, and it's always stuck with me. And so to be able to have an event that might be able to help those children out is a big deal to us.
The event also featured free food, games, door prizes, as well as a good cause. Families in Quapaw, Oklahoma today were able to snag a free backpack and school supply voucher. The Quapaw Nation's Child Care Development Fund hosted a giveaway at the Quapaw Farmers Market. The vouchers were available for children between the ages of 3 and 12 who are enrolled in pre-K, Head Start, or elementary school.
Help our community in ways that there's a need. Families right now are struggling, and so we've just we've made it a little bit bigger than what it used to be. Last year we started off with about 150 backpacks. This year we're hoping to give away 300 vouchers.
The voucher can also be redeemed on Amazon. We'll take a first look at weather with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney.
Well, we had a nice weak cold front move through on Thursday, dropping our humidity levels. So temperatures are still in the low 90s. Currently, 82 out in Joplin and Pittsburgh, 83 Parsons, 84 Independence, 78 in Cassville, 79 in Monette. Still a little bit cooler out in the eastern counties. Temperatures are but more average for the next couple of days. But like I said, humidity levels dropped, so the heat index has gone down pretty significantly today. Tomorrow, unfortunately, starts to warm back up. We'll also have a nice little northerly breeze, only about 5 to 10 miles per hour this evening. Not much, but we do have nicer conditions today, tomorrow, and even on Sunday. But those temperatures do start to creep back up, and I'll have more details in just a bit. Anthony?
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Election season is here, and many people are now able to take to the polls for the first time. KOAM Samantha Walker spoke with those in the 4 states who are working to make sure everyone who is able to voice their opinion is heard in this election season.
Every single person that walks through that door is another American that today is going to one day become a voter in this country because of what is being established right here.
A Harvard Institute of Politics study found that more than half of young Americans indicate they will vote in the 2024 general election. Many organizations are trying to encourage registration in that age group. The League of Women Voters offers nonpartisan election resources and frequently holds events to get people ready to take to the polls.
So we let the young folks know who are here and help them get registered, because there's a lot of young people who aren't registered yet, and this is a chance to do it.
Individuals are even joining the movement. At just 17, Tucker Leck isn't eligible to vote in upcoming elections, but that hasn't stopped the Neodesha teen from organizing a voter registration event for those in his hometown.
Because not only can they play a part in our democracy in future years, but more importantly what this does is it shows that young people can help others register to vote, and that voting is an essential part to make sure that our republic continues in a steadfast direction moving forward.
For young Americans registering for the first time, it was surprising how easy the process was.
I mean, just, plain and simple. It was easy to do, easy to, read. It was just basic information, so it was easy to comprehend, easy to do.
Tucker says he believes it's important everyone, young and old, has their voice heard at the ballot box.
Regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, every single American comes from a background. They have their own perspective that influences their way of life. And their way of life is something that I believe is something that is really important that should be reflected at the ballot box every single year.
And for those who have spent years encouraging voter registration for young voters, it's reassuring to see young people like Tucker become so involved in the process.
As silly as it might sound, it just makes me feel like it's going to be okay, I'm not going to be around forever, but they'll be here longer than me, and I think it just makes me happy. And a lot of people fought and died for a right to vote, and I think it's a shame that people choose not to. And these young people who are getting involved in it are just making a difference, I think.
I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
You can learn more about how to register to vote in your county, as well as find other election resources on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. The city of Galena, Kansas says goodbye to its chief of police today. Chief Billy Charles hangs up his badge after a 26-year career in law enforcement, including his time as chief of police for Galena for the past 8 years. The city celebrated Charles's career today at the Galena Senior and Event Center. Noble Dobkins will take over as the next chief of police. Well, coming up, health experts warn about the dangers of sun safety myths floating around on social media. An ongoing clinical trial found a commonly used drug for organ transplants could extend women's fertility by up to 5 years. Rapamycin is a bacterial compound used to keep immune systems from rejecting a new organ. It can also treat certain vascular conditions by slowing down cell growth. Studies in mice have found rapamycin could counteract aging of the ovaries, possibly delaying menopause. As Earth experiences what may be the hottest year on record, experts are warning that social media influencers are spreading false and dangerous messages about the sun and sunscreen. That includes messages that try to undermine the safety and efficiency of sunscreen, as well as myths about ways to protect yourself. Reporter Michael Yoshida has what medical experts want you to know.
The sun does not cause skin cancer. With a good tan, you don't need sunscreen. These are some of the false and potentially dangerous messages you may come across on social media.
It's leading to a spread in a lot of misinformation on how to care for your skin and how to protect your skin, especially when it comes to skin cancer.
Extensive research has shown UV radiation can harm skin cells and play a significant role in causing cancer like melanoma. Still, Experts say misinformation on sun protection is not only spreading, but being believed.
Messages are being delivered very fast in a brief amount of time, and there's no room for nuance.
A recent survey by the Orlando Health Cancer Institute recently found about 1 in 7 adults under age 35 thought daily sunscreen use is more harmful to the skin than direct sun exposure, and about a quarter believed drinking water and staying hydrated prevented a sunburn.
There's so much misinformation, and they're talking about ineffective treatments. I think that, drinking water is going to protect your skin. You're absolutely wrong. Find a sunscreen that is comfortable and that you're going to wear. That is the best sunscreen. If you're not going to wear it, then it's not going to be worth your time.
Doctors also say sun damage earlier in life can lead to trouble years later.
For those of us who treat patients with skin cancer, we have seen a troubling uptick in incidence, especially melanoma in younger folks.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later a couple of local Little League teams compete in the Little League World Series.
Well, today wasn't so bad. I know earlier this week we were fighting the heat, the high humidity, but after a weak cold front, we're looking pretty good. Taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, we've got a nice little northerly breeze, which kind of keeps us rather cool, and those lower humidity as well. It's pretty nice out there. Still getting hot the next couple of days. Today we got up to about 91, and our low was just about 69, so we're right at average. And again, lower humidity, so it feels like it's actually 91 degrees. It's pretty nice. Tomorrow we start to warm back up. We don't have any rain chances in the forecast until midweek, next week, even later in the week as well. So it's just mostly going to be sunny for the next several days, the weekend, early next week. And that kind of poses a bit of a problem because we do still have those dry conditions for most of us. It's not quite a drought, but we're inching back into those drought conditions, especially since we don't receive a lot of rainfall in August, little to no rainfall at all. We do have those rain chances next weekend. We're going to be looking forward to that. But until then, for the next couple of days, these low humidity values is what we're really focused on. So we've got less than 40%. That's a good thing. That means our heat index values are likely going to be right at what our actual temperature is. So tomorrow, most of us 35% or less, even in Yates Center, Iola, 20, 25%, not too bad out there. And that goes for Sunday as well. We're still seeing about 30% out in Webb City, 34 in Independence, 24 in Iola, 20% in Fort Scott. So pretty dry out there, which is a good thing. Makes us feel a little bit better. So those actual, those heat index values only going to be 94 out in Joplin, and our forecasted high about 93. And then we move into Sunday. Feels like 95 in Joplin, 96 in Independence, highest, 97 in Sedan, 99 in Nowata, so still a little bit warm in those southwestern counties. But the actual temperature for the next couple of days, 93 on Saturday, 96 on Sunday. It's going to be hot, but not humid. We also have some clouds on Saturday, which may also help with that heat. And no rain chances, so we're going to stay mostly dry, which doesn't really help with those drought conditions. Temperatures do rise pretty quickly, though, at the end of the weekend and into early next week. So we've got a high pressure dome over western U.S. It's going to be like that for the next couple of days. We do have those clouds again tomorrow, but that system just kind of sits out there, doesn't really move. It's pretty stagnant for the next couple of days. So that's why we're not seeing any change in our forecast. Mid-90s, low humidity. Doesn't start to move until the end of the weekend into early next week. That's when humidity starts to creep back in. We get a nice southerly breeze bringing in that Gulf moisture, and temperatures start to climb up really quickly. So we're seeing Monday 99, Tuesday 100 again. And again, heat index values are still going to be pretty high on those 2 days because humidity starts to rise as well. We do have rain chances starting Thursday, and then we're seeing a bit of a drop in temperatures down to mid-80s after that.
Stay inside if you can, for sure.
Yes, well, this weekend's not so bad, but definitely early next week, it's going to be another hot week, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Lindsay. While most area kids are getting ready to head back to school, some area kids celebrated graduation today. Students, teachers, and parents celebrated graduation from the Compass Academy Network Summer Enrichment Program. The graduation marks the program's 6th year, providing middle school students from the four-state area with a month-long fun and engaging program that helps prepare them for success in the upcoming school year and beyond. This year, over 120 students across 3 locations participated in the program.
A lot of need for students to receive enrichment services, and we're not always seeing those students get the push during the school year that they sometimes yearn for. And so this is a great opportunity for those kids to come out and just get a little bit more enrichment through the summer, and it just keeps them busy. So it's a great way for them to get started and kind of a jump start on the school year.
Students who successfully complete the program receive a $45 Walmart gift certificate for their school supplies. Coming up, the latest jobs report.
Job creation cooled in July. I'm Jerry Willis in New York. We'll take a look at the numbers coming up.
Job creation cooled down in July, adding to speculation a Federal Reserve interest rate cut in September may be too little, too late. Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis has more.
Job growth in the U.S. slowed more than expected in July. The number of new jobs created came in at 114,000 last month. Economists were forecasting 175,000. And the unemployment rate jumped to 4.3%, still considered historically low, though it has risen from 3.4% early last year. Hiring was expected to slow in July, especially because of Hurricane Beryl, which struck the Gulf Coast early in the month, but still the numbers are weaker than predicted. The Federal Reserve has been watching for signs the labor market is softening as it considers whether to cut interest rates.
The Fed is behind the curve, and the market is just figuring out all this, now rear view mirror. The consumer is in recession. Companies are now laying people off. Earnings are coming in really disappointing.
So where are the jobs? Healthcare and social assistance, construction, government, transportation, and warehousing still adding jobs. But the information sector shedded positions. The July jobs report also showed modest revisions. Job gains for June were revised down by a total of 27,000 jobs to 179,000.
This has been a very bad jobs report. It's showing a weakening to the economy. I don't think we're moving to a recession. We're going to see the market look at it, reflect, and say, okay, lower interest rates are beneficial.
The Fed is widely expected to make its first rate cut in September. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Applying for a job and never hearing back about an interview can be very frustrating. LinkedIn asked more than 1,000 hiring managers why they didn't bring a candidate in for an interview. Most common answer, the candidate didn't have the right skills. Other reasons include significant delays in the candidate's response to calls and emails and frequent job changes. LinkedIn career expert Catherine Fisher shared the top 5 things hiring managers are looking for once you land the interview.
They're looking for someone who comes prepared, who has really good questions, has done their homework on the company, and is really able to sell themselves in terms of why they're the best fit for the role. Demonstrate that you've been out there learning, because skills, as we know, are changing so rapidly that you're always out there trying to learn the newest thing and keeping yourself really fresh with those skills.
Fisher also recommends including the skills the company is looking for in your LinkedIn profile and resume, and be prepared to explain how you use those skills to deliver results. Up next, we'll learn about an Iowa man's record-setting vegetable. A Southeast Iowa man now holds the world's record for biggest eggplants. The Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship said Dave Bennett from Bloomfield recently set a record with his eggplant weighing 8.33 pounds. The dark purple fruit measures 28 inches around its center and 32 inches around lengthwise. The Iowa Weights and Measures Bureau was called in to officially verify the record. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The Secret Service holds a news conference about the security failures leading up to the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Plus, the White House pushes back on criticism of the historic prisoner swap with Russia.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Anthony Saviello. Earlier today, the U.S. Secret Service held their first on-camera news conference since the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump 3 weeks ago. It comes as Americans' trust in the agency is plummeting. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor is in Washington with the latest on the investigation.
The weeks following the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump have mostly been a blame game between the Secret Service and local law enforcement. But Friday, in his first press conference since the shooting, the acting boss at the Secret Service looked to change that.
In no way should any state or local agency supporting us in Butler on July 13th be held responsible for a Secret Service failure.
At least one veteran agent is pointing specifically at the Secret Service higher-ups, telling Fox News, the 3 things that failed us in Butler were lack of communication, which is a leadership issue, lack of personnel, which is a leadership issue, and a lack of use of technology, which is a leadership issue.
We want to know who was the agent that cleared President Trump to go on that stage at 6 o'clock.
Here's a list of just some of the Secret Service failures on July 13th. About 25 minutes prior to the shooting, the Secret Service command post was notified of a suspicious person. The gunman was on the roof for at least 5 minutes before he started shooting, and he was able to fly a drone over the rally site.
We need to be leveraging technology. Anti-drone technology probably could have prevented this to begin with.
Rowe now faces an uphill battle to restore Americans' confidence in his agency. A new poll reveals only 3 in 10 Americans are extremely or very confident the Secret Service can protect presidential candidates from harm before the election.
And we will earn back your trust.
Acting Director Rowe promised accountability for any policy failures connected to the shooting, but he did not say if any agents have been disciplined so far. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
The Democratic National Committee says Vice President Kamala Harris has officially secured enough delegates to be the party's presidential nominee. The Harris campaign live-streamed the moment during virtual voting that delegates put her over the top with 2,350 votes. The Vice President called in to thank her supporters.
This is truly a people-powered campaign. And I would not be on this call right now and with you all were it not for your support and your trust.
The fact that we can say today, just one day after we open voting, that the vice president has crossed the majority threshold and will officially be our nominee next week, folks, that is simply outstanding.
The DNC says it will still hold a state-by-state roll call during its national convention later this month, but it will only be ceremonial. The vice president is expected to interview running mate candidates over the weekend and announce her pick by Monday. The White House pushing back against criticism over the biggest prisoner swap since the Cold War. This as new details emerge on who the U.S. released back to Russia. Fox News senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich has the latest from the North Lawn.
Russian President Vladimir Putin welcoming criminals returned to Moscow from 5 countries where they'd been convicted as part of the largest prisoner swap since the Cold War. Friday, the Kremlin acknowledging for the first time some of them had been undercover Russian agents. The rare admission coming after President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris greeted Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and former Marine Paul Whelan as they returned to the U.S. late Thursday, part of a massive exchange involving 7 nations and 24 people. On his way to Wilmington for the weekend, President Biden telling reporters U.S. officials still hope to secure the release of Mark Fogel, a U.S. citizen serving what officials call an unjust 14-year sentence in Russia.
We're not giving up on that.
This as the White House pushed back on claims by Ohio Senator J.D. Vance suggesting former President Donald Trump deserved the credit for Thursday's prisoner swap, saying because bad guys all over the world recognize Donald Trump's about to be back in office.
There's absolutely zero evidence at all that this deal was brought about because of some potential fear of who might be the next president.
For his part, Trump criticized the swap, saying Russia was, quote, extorting the U.S.
Certainly we feel good about getting our people back for sure, and credit the administration for working a complicated deal to get them back. But look, this model isn't working. This is a political weapon.
Nobody's delighted or doing backflips over here. That's what negotiations are all about. They require tough decisions, tough calls.
Here at the White House, the Biden administration is celebrating, flying the new hostage and wrongful detainee flag over the building. At the White House, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
A bit later, a burger with a side of AI.
A piece of software can now make sure that when you ask for extra pickles on your burger, you get them. I'm Eben Brown in Miami. I'll have that story straight ahead.
It was a nicer day for us today, low humidity, but temperatures are still in the 90s. We'll go ahead and take a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Looking good out there. A little cloudy, but overall we're going to stay dry and clear for the next couple of days through the weekend. Temperatures were right about average, so 91 for our high today, exactly average, and 69 for our low, so right about there. We're staying about average for the next couple of days and low humidity as well, thanks to a weak cold front that moved through on Thursday. We dropped those humidity values, but temperatures are still going to be in the mid to lower 90s, but we also don't see any rainfall, not until later in the week, in the end of the week, which is unfortunate because we do have those dry conditions. Not quite drought conditions, but you can see the drought starting to creep back in and all the area in the yellow just dry. So we do need one good rainfall help us out. Fortunately, we don't see it until end of the week next week. Until then, humidity levels are going to stay pretty low through the weekend, but they start to rise back up early in the week. So tomorrow, 31% out in Pittsburgh, 34% in Parsons, 23% in Iola, so pretty dry out there. It's a good thing. That helps out with our heat index value, and that stays like that on Sunday as well. Even drier, 20% in Fort Scott, 28% in Chautauqua and Nowata and Veneta, 30% in Webb City and Neosho. So everyone's less than 30% humidity on Sunday. Pair that with still 90-degree weather. The heat index values are going to be right at what the actual temperature is. So what we're seeing, heat indices, 94 degrees in Joplin, Parsons, Chanute, Iola, 96 in Independence, 97 in Nowata, so it's getting a little warmer out there, 92 in Aurora, 94 Stockton. Then we move into Sunday, starting to warm back up by Sunday, 95 in Joplin, Girard, Iola, Chanute, 97 in Sedan, 99 in Nowata, 98 in Veneta. So we're getting back up there, but the actual temperature is going to be about 93 on Saturday with a few clouds as well in the afternoon, and 96 on Sunday, and it's going to be mostly sunny Sunday. It's going to be hot but not humid, and we don't see those rain chances either. We've got a nice high pressure dome right over western U.S. It's not really moving. It's pretty stagnant, so most of our weather pattern doesn't change for the next couple of days. So through the weekend, staying dry, still warm, mid to lower 90s, until we start to see that high pressure start to shift. Then we see winds shift out of the south, bringing in that moisture from the Gulf, and temperatures start to rise back up pretty quickly. 99 on Monday, 100 on Tuesday, and then humidity values are a little bit higher those 2 days as well, so we'll likely see a few heat advisories. Then we got rain chances starting Thursday, and then a drop in temperatures.
Nice, then miserable, then nice again.
Then, you know, it's average and then miserable and then nice. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that wording better. That's why you're the meteorologist.
That is why. 6 years of school for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Lindsay. Coming up in sports, a former Missouri Southern Lion makes his Olympic debut. And the St. Louis Cardinals play against their rivals in Chicago. Brock Baldridge has the highlights from the game and more.
The 4 states are represented at a national scale once again as the Little League Baseball Midwest Regional Tournament kicks off in Whitestown, Indiana. Webb City represents Team Missouri, and Riverton is representing Team Kansas, as both teams are hopeful to punch their ticket to the Little League World Series. Webb City is the first team to play in the tournament as they face Team Nebraska out of South Sioux City, and Webb City gets a dominating victory as they beat Nebraska 14-3. Max Woodmansee hit a solo homer in the 3rd inning of this one. Webb City and Team Missouri will advance to the winner's bracket as they face Team Iowa tomorrow afternoon. and that game starts at noon Central on ESPN+. So right after that, the 12U All-Stars out of Riverton, Kansas, playing their first game of the tournament. Team Iowa got out to a big lead in this one, and Riverton couldn't quite complete the comeback. However, Levi Kinsley hit a double and scored a run in this game, but Riverton isn't done yet. This tournament is a double elimination format, so Team Kansas will get another chance as they will face Team Nebraska in the elimination bracket. That game is scheduled for 9 a.m. Central Time on Sunday morning. Well, the track and field portion of the Paris Olympic Games have arrived, and former Missouri Southern Lion Rajendra Campbell competes in the round of qualifications for the men's shot put. Well, here are the final results of the men's shot put in the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Missouri Southern's Rajendra Campbell is competing for Team Jamaica, and he is officially qualified for the final round of the men's shot put. Only the top 12 qualify, and Campbell finishes in the top 10 with a score of 21.05. The final round of the men's shot put continues tomorrow at 12:35 Central Time. Campbell will look to compete for an Olympic medal in the event. We wish him the best of luck. Well, the St. Louis Cardinals open up in the month of August on the road, taking on their Wrigleyville rivals, and the Cardinals look to keep their pace in the National League Central standings. Well, Cards and Cubs square off on Friday afternoon. Chicago leads 1-0 in the second inning. Christian Bethencourt goes to the opposite field on the inside pitch. That ball lands in the basket, counts for a 3-run homer. Cubs lead 4-0. Later in the inning, Michael Busch sends this ball into Souvenir City. No doubt about that one. Solo homer puts Chicago in front 5-0. Cubs led 5-3 in the 8th inning. Bases loaded opportunity for Brandon Crawford right here. Hector Neris on the mound gets a big swing and a miss for the Cubs. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning now. Runner on base for Kyle Lehigh, who is on the mound and tries a pickoff move here and throws it away into center field, and that allows Seiya Suzuki to come home to easily score. Cubs win the game 6-3. Chicago takes the first 2 games of the series. Royals also in action tonight, taking on the Detroit Tigers after winning last night's series opener 7-1. And tonight, more of the same. The offense got hot again as Kansas City wins 9-2. Salvador Perez goes 3 for 5 with a homer in this one and a pair of RBIs. Both teams back at tomorrow afternoon. Well, that's your look for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Are you tired of grabbing lunch at the drive-thru and getting the wrong order? Now America's fastest food chains are turning to high-tech solutions. Fox's Evan Brown has more.
Have you ever gone to the drive-thru only to drive away with your order incorrect? There could be an AI solution to that problem, and it is coming sooner than you think. Fast food restaurant chain Bojangles is partnering with the tech company Hi Auto to roll out a new AI-based ordering system in all of its drive-thru locations, following a test run of 50 stores that showed the artificial intelligence got the order correct more than 95% of the time.
It's a production line. If there is a mistake, the whole production line breaks. And so the key for the success of this technology is accuracy.
The system isn't purely run on AI. It also relies on human input to help it learn and become more accurate. And so far, it's getting high marks from employees who call it Bolinda and say it makes them feel less pressure when dealing with customers.
You reduce pressure and they are happy and they are staying so that your service is consistent.
Other restaurants are experimenting with AI with mixed results, including McDonald's, which canceled its own test run last month. But with voice recognition and chat interfaces becoming more sophisticated, experts say it is only a matter of time before tech like this is rolled out industry-wide.
You can create a guest experience that is really great and improving over time and differentiates one brand from another.
And the Commerce Department says the use of AI in restaurants is expected to increase by 85% over the next year. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Taco Bell is also expanding its use of AI. The fast food chain will soon use AI voice technology in its drive-thrus at hundreds of U.S. locations by the end of the year. The technology is already currently being used in more than 100 locations in 13 states. Taco Bell's parent company, Yum Brands, says it to eventually use it across all its brands, including KFC and Pizza Hut. Coming up, we'll check out the new movies looking to knock Deadpool and Wolverine off the top box office spot. A few new movies join the current record-breaking summer box office champ. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a look at what's new in theaters and streaming.
This is literally the best day of my life. An M. Night mystery, marvelous mayhem, and more are at the movies.
This whole concert? It's a trap.
New in theaters this week is M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, starring Josh Hartnett, about a serial killer at a concert designed as a trap to catch him.
With the crayon, anything is possible.
Zachary Levi leads Harold and the Purple Crayon. After making anything come to life by drawing it, Harold is now grown up and learning about life outside of his book.
We're here to become human again.
Coleman Domingo stars in Sing Sing, about a theater troupe escaping realities of incarceration by putting on a play. The film is inspired by a real-life rehabilitation program, and its cast includes formerly incarcerated actors.
Three of us have become rappers.
Michael Fassbender stars in the biopic Kneecap, alongside the real-life hip-hop trio playing themselves. The film is about the rise and musical journey of the controversial Belfast group, rapping in their native Irish language.
Good morning, Sandy.
On streaming, Netflix adds Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie, which has Sandy and SpongeBob along with Sandy's family, helping to save Patrick and the rest of the Bikini Bottom friends.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero.
Plus, there's the current #1 at the box office, Deadpool and Wolverine.
This is what I'm talking about.
The Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman-led cameo-filled Marvel movie marked the biggest opening weekend of the year and the biggest R-rated debut ever. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of a baby Fana Loca at the Nashville Zoo. From all of us here at KOAM, have a great night.